Greetings and welcome to M-Spidi Kent Live, and welcome to the live show. It's a weekly live show that we bring to you to preview the events that happen, the motorsports events that are happening all over the world and here locally in Kenya. And today we are here to bring you live the events that have been happening this week. That's the Dakar Rally, and we will also previewing we'll also be reviewing the 2021 season that happened last year. The events that happened and previewing this year's season before it begins, the 2022 season. We have a lot lined up for you, so stay with us and stick with us and be ready. Enjoy this show. It's going to be a bumpy ride. It's going to be a fun one as well. So let's get down to business. So as I said before, we're going to, first of all, we're going to preview the Kenya Motorsports Federation prize giving ceremony that is set to take place next weekend at the Kasarani International Stadium. That's the Kenya Motorsports Federation headquarters, office headquarters. They'll be awarding the 2021 motorsports disciplines, different disciplines, be it rally, be it autocross. We'll be awarding the champions, the people who took the title in that season. We'll see Carlo taking the title, the trophy for the Kenya National Rally Championship, which he won. Autocross, we'll look also at the different classes in autocross and who won what class and who will take the prize. We'll also review the Dakar Rally that's ongoing right now. Today was rest day after 6 days of grueling action. So today they took a rest day. They resume the competition tomorrow. And we'll also look at we'll also review the newly released Kenya Motorsports calendar that was released early this week, for 2022. So stay with us and let's do this. Yeah. So for starters, we'll start with the Kenya Motorsports Federation Awards prize giving ceremony that is set to take place, as like I told you, on 15th January. That is next week on Saturday. Will be at 6 p.m. So that will be interesting to attend, to watch and to attend. We're not sure whether the event will be aired live on the Kenya Motorsports Federation channels or their websites, but we at M-Spidi will bring you the events in whichever capacity we can. If we're able to live stream it for you, well and good. If we're not, then we record it and we'll surely give you the action as it happened. So let's get down to it. As I was saying, the Kenya Motorsports Federation is set to give out the award at the Kasarani headquarters, where different champions of the different disciplines will be awarded. And we can see that Carlo is set to take the 2021 Kenya National Rally Championship trophy, which he won. He accumulated a total of 187 points in the 9 legs that were held last year. The 9 legs were spread across the country. We had, for starters, we had the season opener in Nakuru before we went to, before now the COVID struck and some events were cancelled and postponed. We then went to the Equator Rally, which was a double header. It acted as a leg of the Kenya National Rally Championship, as well as the African Rally Championship leg for Kenya. Yes, Kenya hosted that. It was actually the second leg for the African Rally Championship. It also went to different towns. It went to Voi, it went to Machakos, it went to Thika. It was spread all over the country. It was a lot of fun, actually. But Carlo actually won the Kenya National Rally Championship ahead of 2019 defending champion Baldev Chaga, who was fighting to retain the title, but unfortunately, he could only manage to come home a close second. So Carlo, as I said, accumulated 187 points, and Baldev Chaga was a close second with 174 points. The third driver who got on the podium was Jasmeet Chana, popularly known as the Iceman, putting up a very stellar performance. Keeping the title fight alive, bringing the fight to the big guys. In the Kenya National Rally Championship, Carlo usually drives his Mitsubishi Evolution 10, but as opposed to the African Rally Championship, where he drives the the Volkswagen, the VW Polo L5. And for the first few legs of the Kenya National Rally Championship, Baldev Chaga was driving his Evolution 10 as well, but after a few legs, maybe it was in the fourth or the fifth leg that he started driving Onkarai's VW Polo as well, which set some interesting performances. We'll look at the different performances according to the different classes of the cars, the R5s, the N4s, in the coming episodes. But for today, that is not on our agenda. And also, the fourth participant, though he won't get any award, though to mention he was in contention for the podium places before he dropped off due to some mechanical problems. As after all, this is rallying. You can only do as much. Then the rest is up to the car and the performance of the car. Who is Karan Patel? Karan Patel has put up a very, very, very strong season in the 2021 season. Showed some brilliant flashes of his driving. Was very competitive in the local championship and in the African Rally Championship as well. So watch out for Karan Patel this year. And in fifth place was not Ankarai. It was Aki Virani. Aki Virani drives Manvir Berian's Skoda R5. So Manvir used to be Manvir was the African Rally Championship champion for 2018. So after vacating the scene, the car was bought by Aki Virani, who's been driving it in the local championship, and unfortunately, he hasn't participated in the African Rally Championship. And in sixth place was Onkarai, who, despite not participating in majority of the events, he did participate in the first few events, managed to accumulate a couple of points, 73 points to be specific, but dropped off after the safari. He hasn't participated in any Kenya National Rally Championship, though it would be wrong for me not to acknowledge his prowess in driving, seeing as he drove almost half the races and managed to get himself on the sixth position. That is quite impressive, so to say. And we'll also be remembering his brother Taj Verai, who unfortunately crashed in the Safari Rally. He's well on his recovery process, and we'll only be hoping that he gets better with time. We miss him in the local championship, and we pray that maybe this year he'll be back in contention and back in the driver's seat. And crossing over now to the Kenya National Championship, where different classes actually held. We have different classes going from the junior classes, the PW classes, all of, up to the four-wheel drive classes, where we can see that in the two-wheel drive non-turbo junior class, Brandon Nganga was the winner of that class. He came on top of that class, ahead of the likes of Neil Gohill, who brought a lot of competition to him. But at the end of the day, it was Brandon Nganga who took the top honors. We expect to see him receiving the trophy for that. In the two-wheel drive turbo class, we'll see Lavjit Singh, the Motorsport royalty. Lavjit Singh, who's a serial winner. He's been dominating autocross for some time now, so we'll be also expecting to see him walk away with that. He also set history, Lavjit, that is, he also set history last year, winning both the two-wheel drive turbo class, buggy class, and the four-wheel drive turbo car class, in which he faced stiff competition, but at the end of the day, he reigned supreme. So we'll expect Lavjit to take home two awards at least. And in the four-wheel drive, no, not four-wheel, sorry. In the two-wheel drive non-turbo buggy class, that was Zamir Vaj's tough to take. He was dominant in that class, setting himself way apart from the different competitors. He showed his class in that category, winning it outright. So we expect him to take home the trophy of the two-wheel drive non-turbo buggy class. And then in the two-wheel drive non-turbo car class was a fierce competition between Raj Vetethi and Sam Karangada. That has been keeping us on our toes in the entire season. It was pretty much interesting to watch. the duel between the two was on another level. They went all out, exchanging wins in different circuits. One would win in this circuit, Zamir would win in this circuit, and Sam Karangada would win the next. So that was an interesting battle to follow up. But at the end of the day, it was Reg Fiatati who reigned supreme. He won that class. And interestingly enough, we saw him join the last leg of the Kenya National Rally Championship, which is maybe a preview, a snippet of what to expect this year, because he's been autocross for long. But and we use and in Kenya, it's common knowledge that we use autocross as a stepping stone into the Kenya National Rally Championship. So that his performance in the last leg in the Grunanak, the last leg of the Kenya National Rally Championship was satisfactory. He came home an impressive 8th. So we expect him to see. We expect to see him maybe participate in both the Autocross Championship and the National Rally Championship. We'll hear from him when we can contact him. We'll hear his plans. It's doable. It's actually a doable plan because we've seen Hamza Anwar balance the two. He's been competing in the National Championship for Autocross and in the Kenya National Rally Championship as well, and gone even further to compete in the Africa Rally Championship. So that would be interesting as well. In the quad category was a duel between Wayne Fernandez and Guraj Singh. And at the end of the day, it was Guraj Singh who won that, seeing as he participated in the most legs of the quad category. Fernandez has been putting up impressive performances, bringing the fight to Guraj, but at the end of the day, Guraj reigned supreme. That was his field to take. And in the Bambino class, now for the young ones, this is interesting. It was Yuvraj Rajput, who is actually he's actually the winner of that category. He's also the brother, the sibling to Kiana Rajput, who will also be expecting to lift the Pee class trophy. She won that class ahead of the likes of Ian Bengi, the son of Kenya National Rally Championship driver Eric Bengi. So that class, the junior categories, the junior categories has a lot of competition, and it's very encouraging to see the kids take up the fight, bring a fight and take up the mantles, which shows that our sport is growing and shows that our sport is in safe hands with the entry of the kids into the Autocross Championship. And in the open class, that was Hamza Anwar, as I said before. He's competing in almost 3 championships simultaneously. He won the open class, which was to say, in my opinion, one of the closest fights. He was competing against the likes of Junaid Shah and Yuvraj Rajput and all that, and all those people. The lineup of the drivers he was against is impressive. Let's say that, but he's shown his pure talent, showing why he's also competing in the Kenya National Rally Championship. And moving on forward, we look at the Kenya National Karting Championship as well. Who will take home the trophy in that Kenya National Karting Championship? It's interesting to note that there are a couple of classes also in that category, but the most notable class is the Rotax Junior Max Championship that was won by Chris Banderi. He won rounds 9 and 10, the last 2 rounds of the Kenya National Karting Championship to lift the title, ahead of the duo of Miles Imbai and William Kim, who are the closest rivals in that category. And moving on to the Kenya National Championship, this is another discipline of the motorsports in Kenya that is largely new to the scene, but has provided one of the most entertaining action-packed weekends. We've traveled to the service park at the KWS Institute Naivasha, where we held the Delta Motokana. And it was interesting to watch the Tarmac Championship. It's not a popular championship in Kenya. It's gaining traction. It's gaining the popularity it deserves, which is interesting to watch. And it encourages us to, it encourages us overall to follow motorsports in Kenya. It shows the trajectory of growth in Kenya, in the motorsports in Kenya. In the Tarmac Championship, that was Umangson's tough. Umangsoni was impressive overall throughout the 3 or 4 legs that circuits that were held. He won the KWS Service Park leg. Went ahead to win the Masinga Dam one as well, and the season closing one in Whistling Moran, breaking a couple of records as well, setting the fastest time. Was interesting to watch as well, and moving on, there was also the National Raid Championship. We expect the winner in that category to also be awarded, as well as in the 4x4 challenge. We expect that to also bring a lot of competition. And moving on to the next segment, we'll be looking at the top 10 things that we learned from the 2021 season in all the disciplines, be it in rally, be it in autocross. There must have been points that we took home from the season, which we've narrowed down to 10. And so we'll start with the first one, which was motorsport in Kenya is on a steady rise, which is visible. It's clear for everyone to see, crystal clear. With the return of the WRC in Kenya, the WRC Safari Rally, which was one of the biggest events in Kenya, sporting events in Kenya, one of the most watched events in Kenya as well, and in the world. We won. We put up, according to the WRC site, we were the most watched WRC circuit last year, 2021, beating all the other legs like Monte Carlo that attract big numbers, Portugal as well, Monza. Some of these big names that have been in the circuit for long, we did outdo them, performing very well. We won. We had an average of more than 30 million views, if I'm not wrong. I can confirm that to you later. But on the social media platforms, you are the most followed WRC circuit as well. So that shows that the Safari brought a lot of excitement, and that shows that the sport in Kenya is really, really growing in leaps and bounds. We can also say that the massive entry into the Kenya National Autocross Championship, which acts as a stepping stone into now the rally world, was also another one of the things that showed us the trajectory of the growth in Kenya and of the sport in Kenya. Because in the last few events that we've attended, the last few events we attended, the last event was in Jamhuri Park, not in Jamhuri Park, sorry, it was in Kiambu, Twisty Corners track. The entry was impressive. More than 30 drivers entered in that event. I think the highest number we recorded during last year was in entry numbers was in autocross was 38, if I'm not wrong, which shows that the sport is growing despite the few challenges we had from COVID. It was an unprecedented time, but the people kept on coming, kept on entering, which was encouraging, especially now in the junior classes where we saw a lot of entries, the kids taking up motorsports, which shows the sport will continue growing. And we encourage anyone who's out there who wishes to join the sport. In as much as people think motorsports is expensive, autocross is relatively affordable from what we found out, because you can just use a normal road car. You don't need an expensive machine. You don't need all the infrastructure that comes with rallying. Perhaps in autocross you just need a good performing car. You don't have to use a lot of fuel. The championship is stretched out accordingly, so that it doesn't strain your pockets as well. So we can encourage anyone who's into motorsports, not just as a spectator, maybe even you want to participate, you have your car there at home, you can bring it out, and you go through the necessary requirements, the Kenya Motorsports Federation requirements, and you can enroll yourself in autocross. It brings a lot of excitement, to say. I usually go there as a reporter on journalism works, but at the end of the day, I feel like I was one of the participants, to be honest, because the engines, the sound, the speed, the company, a lot of interesting. It's an interesting environment to be around. Addictive actually, if I'm to be honest. And yeah, just like I can just encourage anyone who's thinking about getting into motorsports. That is a good place to start. You can enter your kids. Doesn't matter how young they are, as young as I don't know 5, 6. I've seen five less than 5 year old kid compete. Ian Bengi was, I think, the youngest entrant into autocross, and he did well. He actually won in one of the circuits. Must have been the Twisty Corners track, which shows it's doable. You just need to commit yourself into it and get into it. And we M-Spidi here can help you. We can connect you with we can give you the right connections, to get into the sport. Now, moving on forward, we can also say that another sign that shows the sports in Kenya is growing, the motorsports in Kenya is growing, is the amount of women we've seen enroll in motorsports. We've had a consistent theme of women in motorsports airing in Kenya. Every now and then we've seen them on TV. We've seen them. I'm sure each and everyone who's a motorsports fan has seen the sheer number of women entrants into motorsports. For example, you can say we can give a good example of household name Lynette, not Lynette Ayuko, sorry, Maxine Wahome. Maxine is a household name who we've known from her motocross days, but now she's graduated into four wheels. She's gone into autocross. She's competing in the rally, so we can say she's doing a really good job of representing the women in motorsports. We've seen the likes of Lynette Ayuko, who worked with Maxine in the WRC Safari Rally. We've seen the likes of Hanifa Yakub, who also enrolled in autocross, her first ever event, uh, her first ever season as well. We've also seen the likes of Chantal Young, who also worked with Maxine Wahome as well, and Safina Khan, who drove with Maxine Wahome in the East African Mini Classic Rally. That was a nice partnership because the performance was on another level. So we can see that there is constant. There have been constant entries. Not forgetting Kiana Rajput, who I said will be awarded the Pee class trophy. She's the younger sister to Yuvraj Rajput. She's also been performing well. She's in her younger years, so it also shows that even the kids, the women, the girls can also join the sports in as early as they can. They can compete with the boys, as we've seen. She's outdone the boys in a couple of events. Actually, the fact that she's winning a trophy shows she beat all the boys in her category. So another visible sign of growth in motorsports is the amount of fans we've seen trickle into the safari. It's been known for long. We've known that all for long we've had motorsports in Kenya play second field to the other games, to football, to rugby, to the other sports, volleyballs. We've seen people fill up stadiums to watch football matches, rugby matches, rugby tournaments. But for once, I think the best attended sports event of the year was a motorsports event. That's the safari. Uh, yeah, it goes without saying, the name itself is big locally and internationally. So we saw the traffic jam that was on the roads headed to Naivasha, where the safari was held. We saw the sheer amount of numbers that trooped into Naivasha, especially on the last stage of the day. That's the Wolf Power stage, where we saw thousands and thousands of fans, throng the venue, and it was encouraging to watch from a fan's point of view. It was very interesting. I was actually very impressed. Made a lot of friends. So it goes to show that motorsports it's doing really well. It's picking up. So all we can do is to continue supporting the sport to grow. To grow in leaps and bounds. We can also going into the second thing that we learned from the 2021 season is that Kenya is the motorsports powerhouse in Africa. It's unrivaled, so to say. I don't think there's any country that comes close to the action that we've held in the last season, because to state the obvious, we were the go-to favorites for the Safari. They could have chosen any other country, maybe that's known for motorsports like South Africa, but they settled on Kenya. The reason they settled on Kenya is because of the sheer fact that Kenyans love motorsports. We actually held the best African Rally Championship leg this season. That's the Equator Rally. Last season, sorry, the Equator. It was voted the best African Rally Championship leg. It was held in the same venue as the Safari Rally. It actually acted as a dress rehearsal of the rally. It was the drivers themselves were very positive about the event. Even the foreign drivers, they were very impressed about the overall organization of the event. It was fun, it was interesting, and very and very, as in their own words, they said it was tough but fun. So anyway, in the world of rallying and motorsports, we can only expect an interesting, what can I say, an interesting challenge, because it wouldn't be fun if it was doable to everyone. It wouldn't be fun if each and every other person, could participate in the event and have it easy. So the return of the Safari also, shows that Kenya is the biggest powerhouse in Africa. I don't think there's any country that could dispute that. Whoever could be watching from outside Kenya, and has a contrary point of view, views are welcome. We can also say that Kenya's domination in the African Rally Championship shows that we are also a powerhouse in Africa at large. Uh, we won, not we won. Carlton won the African World Championship. It was interesting. It was not only interesting, it was encouraging. It was a statement by itself. We were telling we were directly telling the other competitors from other countries that we have the best drivers. We have, what we're doing. We have the best plan, and we can also say that Karan Patel also performed exemplary well in the African Rally Championship. And we can also say that we can also see that Makri Kimathi, Jeremy Wahome, these young Turks, they've really outdone themselves in the African Rally Championship. They said most of them are actually participating in this championship for the first time, right? Very few drivers in Kenya have participated in the African Rally Championship, and the young drivers are doing a great job of showing the rest of the world and Africa at large why we are considered one of the biggest powerhouses in Africa. And we can also see that from our activities here locally, we've attracted foreign attention. We've had the FIA come in and sponsor our drivers. As you know, we had the FIA Rally Star program that sponsored 3 drivers. That is Hamza Anwar, Makri Kimathi, and Jeremy Wahome. So that goes to show that Kenya is a powerhouse. We've not had such a program being rolled out in Africa before, so it's the first time we're seeing this. So that also sets us apart from other countries. The third thing we learned from the 2021 season, we can say is that Karan Patel is arguably a future national champion or future African champion. Could actually win both the legs. He was utterly impressive in the rallies he participated in last year. Won a couple himself. He won the Voi Rally. That's the Kenya National Rally Championship. He also finished on the podium in 2 African Rally Championship legs. One was in the last one in Rwanda, Mountain Gorilla, and as well as in the Tanzania Oryx Energies Rally, where he was number 2 in both. He finished runner up in both of the African Rally Championship legs. His performance is impressive to say the least. He's showing his mettle. He's showing that he has what it takes to be a champion. We expect to see better performances from him this season. Actually, I can't wait for him to get to start his season, to see what he's learned, to see what performances he'll put up this year. That will be interesting to watch. On the fourth thing that we learned from the 2021 season is that Maxine Wahome has a very bright future in motorsports. She was especially a lucky girl last year, seeing that she landed a couple of sponsorship herself. She was sponsored by Betika company, the betting company for the Safari Rally, where she successfully finished alongside Lynette Ayuko. She also landed herself a sponsorship deal from Safaricom. That was also interesting to follow. And most recent, she was sponsored by the East African Mini Classic Rally for the East African Mini Classic Rally by Minty Motorsports. Minty Motorsports is a UK-based motorsports company that also sponsors the likes of Carl Tundo and Ian Duncan. So having them sponsor Maxine just shows the talent that she has and the promise that she's giving these big companies to come in and support her. So we can also see that her future is bright. Uh, Whether she'll be champion, that is for the world to wait and see. But well, what's to stop her? She's been performing. She's been a champion in motocross. She's been beating the boys in motocross for the longest time. She was actually one of the biggest names in motocross before now moving over to the four wheels. So she might set the same precedent in the autocross and rally as well. So we'll wait and see. But we can only wish the best for Maxine. Uh, Moving on swiftly, the fifth thing we learned from the 2021 season is that Lovejoy is simply peerless in his class. He was outstanding in both classes he participated in. He was in the two-wheel drive turbo buggy class and the four-wheel drive turbo car class, which he won, and we'll expect him to clinch the trophy once the prize giving ceremony starts next weekend. So we'll be watching out for that. So Lovejoy Singh is a huge name in the motorsport scene in Kenya. So that goes without dispute. Moving on now to the sixth thing we learned in the 2021 season is that Carl Tundo has still got it, despite the main for us who are raised, uh, in the who are raised watching Carl Tundo rallying. We've had the name Carl Tundo, Ian Duncan, the likes of Jasmeet Chana, who've been in the rally for long. But for me personally, I've had the name Carl Tundo ever since I was a kid. I think when I was a kid, if anyone ever asked me, which Safari Rally driver do you know? Automatically it would be Carl Tundo or Ian Duncan. So seeing that the man is still strong, still winning championship at his, he's headed into his 50s. I think he celebrated his 48th birthday last year. So you can see that he's well in his twilight years. But he's still performing very impressively. He's bringing the game to the young ones and actually showing them how it's done. So Carl Tundo has still got it. And now, also not forgetting that Carl Tundo won both the Kenya National Rally Championship as well as the African Rally Championship. He emerged winner in both of them, showing that he really knew what he was doing last season. It's not been done before by many people. I think the last person who did that was the last Kenyan to clinch the Continental Double. The name escapes me, but I should be able to tell you by the end of this. I should be able to tell you by the end of the program. So just wait for that. But he's the second Kenyan to do so. It's not a mean feat to accomplish, winning the local championship and going ahead to also dominate the Continental Championship. So Carl Tundo is still on his game, pretty much. And we'll be waiting to see what he does this year. We've received information he's selling his Mitsubishi Evolution 10. So if you're out there and looking for a championship winning car, Carl Tundo has his on sale. So you can as well follow up on the same. I'm sure he'll be driving the VW Polo R5 this year. So for the African Championship, I'm not sure at the moment whether he'll drive the same for the local championship. We can only wait and see. Now moving on swiftly to the seventh thing we learned in the 2021 season is that Sahib Omar is one to watch out for. Sahib Omar, as we all know, was in the four-wheel drive turbo class. He was actually he was the fastest driver in that class in that championship. He put up very impressive performances, setting the fastest time in most of the circuits that autocross went to. So he was one of the most notable people to watch in that season. Sahib Omar, he's won a couple events himself a while back. He's been dominant in autocross for a few years now. We had talked to him earlier this year, asking whether he looks to get into rallying, and obviously that is the he said obviously that is the dream, but he's in current search of sponsors who will. As we know, rallying tends to be a bit expensive. That's why I said earlier that if you want to get into motorsports, the best place to start is autocross, because rallying tends to be a bit expensive with the great distances covered, with the amount of fuel, the amount of mechanical changes and needs that come with the rallying. So he did say he's actively looking for a sponsor so that he can graduate now into the next class. Moving on from Sahib Omar, the eighth thing we ran from the 2021 season was the Kenya National Tarmac Championship. The entry of the Kenya National Tarmac Championship, it shows that the Tarmac Championship in Kenya is gaining traction and is growing gradually. The events that were held last year were organized by the Delta Motorsports Club. It's a largely new club that's taken the mantle of organizing the Tarmac Championship. They did take the championship to Masinga, then took it to the WRC service track in Nevasha. Then we had two events done at the Whistling Moran. They had good entries. We had an average of at least 10 to 15 drivers registered to enter into that Tarmac Championship, where Umang Soni was the winner at the end of the season. So we can say that the Tarmac Championship has entered has been registered as one of the disciplines that the Kenya Motorsports will be catering for, and we can only hope to see it grow and see more people join that championship. It's one of the most fun and exciting championship to follow. Actually, it's very open to people who would wish to join that, because you can use your everyday road car. Unaweza kuwa unatumia gari yenye unaenda nayo kazini. It doesn't really limit you to have it like that. You necessarily need to have a rally car or a specially designed car for the same. No. You can just use your everyday car and go compete, and then just feel what the other people are feeling and enjoy. Motorsports is all about enjoyment, in as much as people compete. Yeah, and the ninth thing we can learn is that two-wheel drive non-turbo car class champion Reg Fair 30 is ready to cross over into rallying. We did see him. Attend the season closing event in Guru Nanak. He put up a very impressive performance, bringing the fight to the big boys, finishing 8th in his inaugural rally. That is not a mean feat to accomplish, We had talked to him also as well about rallying, seeing as most of these autocross drivers use that as a stepping stone. He said he would look to get into rallying actively, which he did at the end of the season. He did only one circuit, but it was enough to show us that he is ready to get into rallying. He actually finishing 8th in your first rally as a rookie. Let's call him a rookie, since he's not done any rallies before. He might have navigated for a couple of people, but that was his first rally as a driver, and he did really well. He did really well for himself, and so we'll be looking to see whether he'll register for the full season this year, or whether he'll remain in autocross, or whether he'll actively participate in the both championship. So we can only wish to hear from the horse's mouth himself. So we'll schedule an interview with Reg Fair 30 so that he can tell us his plans, his specific plans. So just stay tuned to M-Spidi. Keep following us on our social media, on our application, mobile applications. These are some of the things that we'll be updating on a regular basis. We'll be talking to some of the drivers to hear their plans before the season actively begins. And moving on to the last thing, it's not necessarily the last, but we had set a limit for 10. We would invite other people. We would invite your opinions as well. I'm sure from what we've seen and from what you've seen, you've learned a couple of things. We can interact on our social media platforms at M-Spidi, on all platforms, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. You can air your views to us. You can tell us what you've learned from the 2021 season. We can interact and have the discussion offline as well. Uh, so the last thing, as I was saying, is that Kenyans have really invested a lot in the machines, that take part in motorsports. Kenyans are investing heavily in motorsports. We've seen an unprecedented number of R5 cars, coming to the national championship. For now, we can count at least four R5 cars, or four or five R5 cars. We have one for Carl Tundo. We have one for Akivirani. We have two for the Tajvia brothers. That's Rai, Onkarai, and Tajvia Rai. So we have another R5 that was registered by who? I've said Akivirani already, yes. So at least four. For now, I can at least count four off head. So it shows that Kenyans are catching up to the rest of the world. For the longest time, we've used the N4 classes, the N4 class cars. That is the Mitsubishi Evolution 10, the Mitsubishi Evos, the Subarus. They've been the most dominant. They've been the most, present cars and dominant cars in the rallies. But now we're seeing a gradual change. We've seen an entry of other cars. For example, the other cars that are driven by not Magazine, sorry, by Jeremy Wahome, by Hamza Anwar, and Makreki Madi as well. They drive the other cars that were gifted to them by the FIA, the Ford Fiesta. We have also Karan Patel, who's also driving a Ford Fiesta R3. So we can see a gradual growth in the sport. People are investing in new technologies. We keep on growing the sport. We've seen the rage buggies come into autocross, some of the most powerful buggies in the world. We've seen Guraj Singh and his counterpart Rahul Patel, join with the rage buggies. We've seen Zamir Vaji dominating his rage buggy. So we can clearly see that the people involved in motorsports are investing a lot into their arts, into their craft, and that's why, as I was saying earlier, we've seen Kenya set itself apart as the most dominant, player in the African motorsport scene. So as I say, those are some of the 10 things that I can say that we've learned from the 2021 season. If you have yours, you can add the same. We can discuss this offline, see what goes. Now, moving on to the next segment of today's live show, we'll be previewing the Kenya Motorsports 2022 calendar that was released earlier this week. After the completion of the 2021, so we're now set to start planning ahead, planning for the 2022 calendar, and the Kenya Motorsports Federation did well and did their due diligence to bring us the calendar early before. So now I'll help you dissect the calendar, what we expect in this season, some of the events that we'll be attending, some of the events that we'll bring to you. So for starters, there are 13 World Rally Championship circuits that are set to be held this year. Sorry. With the start of the Monte Carlo Rally that's supposed to start on the third weekend of January. Yes, from January 20th to January 22nd. That will be on the weekend. That will be the weekend after prize giving. Will be the season opener. That's the Monte Carlo Rally. It's always the season opener. It's one of the most interesting rallies to follow. So we'll be looking forward to watch that. It's especially interesting to watch the WRC circuit this year because there's radical changes and big changes that have come into that sport. With the introduction of the new hybrid cars that promise a more sustainable era for the WRC. So we'll be watching the performance of the new cars. We'll see which team has the strongest car this year. Last year, the manufacturers championship was taken by Toyota, then followed by Hyundai, and Ford came in a distant third. So we'll be watching which team has done what their cars, what improvement they've done to their cars. That will be one of the most interesting things to follow this year. The Rally One cars are set to be more powerful, since they'll be blending electric power together with the more traditional, fossil fuels, where they'll be switching in between the electric power units and the fossil fuel power units. Uh, as I said, there will be 13 circuits, and the Safari Rally will also be one of the circuits that will be held after the contract that was that was signed between FIA and Kenya. So there'll be Safari Rally will be held on June 25th, June 26th. It will be a 3-day event, like it was last year. We'll have first day for shakedown, and then we'll have another day for rallying, where we'll do stages, and it usually goes from Friday to Sunday. So from June 25th, 26th, we expect mammoth crowds to also now stream once again to Naivasha. But from what we learned from last year, we did take home a couple of points from last year with the traffic, with the rally organization. I'm sure this year it will be better. It will be better. It will be better. It will be better. It will be better in all aspects. We expect the organizers to put in a better performance than they did last year. Not that I'm taking anything away from them. They did an impressive job, but this year will be better because we've already learned what we need to do, where we need to improve, and what we can work on, which is very encouraging for the sport. So the Safari will be the 6th circuit, like I've said, out of the 13. Will be held in the same place that it was last year. That's the KWS Institute in Naivasha. We expect a few changes in the routes from the feedback from the drivers and the teams as well. We expect maybe longer routes this season, tougher routes. We did see Ot Tanak, that's the 2019 champion who drives for Hyundai. Say he was expecting, a tougher Safari Rally from the stories he used to hear about the Safari Rally that used to be there before the hiatus, the 19-year hiatus. But we expect the organizers are going to up their game. We expect to see a more interesting rally. We expect to see the numbers go up as well. The entries also, we expect to see entries of local and African drivers who maybe missed out on the other circuit, on the 2021 circuit. So we expect to see them also join up. Next is the African Rally Championship, where we are set to hold 7 events throughout the 2022 season. They'll be spread out across Africa, the first being the Rally of Ivory Coast, Cote d'Ivoire. Then they'll come to Kenya for the Equator Rally, that acts also as a dress rehearsal for the Safari. We'll also have the Rally of South Africa, the Zambia International Rally, the PAL Uganda, and the Rally of Tanzania, and the season closing. Not the season closing is usually the South Africa, but we also expect to see the Rwanda Mountain Gorilla out of the 7 legs. But the one we'll give the most attention to is the Equator Rally, which is locally held in Kenya. Will be between April 2nd to April 3rd. That will be 2 months before the Safari. So I think it will also act as a dress rehearsal as it did last year. We'll also have 9 Kenya National Rally Championship events this year, similar to what we had in the 2021 season. We did say that the Safari Rally as well as the Equator Rally act as double headers. That means those 2 events will be used to also classify the Kenya National Rally Championship drivers standings as well. So in as much as they'll act as independent rally themselves, they'll act as the Equator Rally will act as a leg of the Africa Rally Championship, whereas the Safari Rally will act as the leg of the WRC. They'll also go towards the point system of the Kenya National Rally Championship, where points accumulated in those events will also be tallied in the Kenya National Rally Championship, like they did in the last year. So we expect those 9 events also to be They'll be similar to what we had in this season. I'm not sure whether they've changed the venues. We can only wait and see. But the venues like they were last year was Nakuru, like I said earlier, was Naivasha, there was Thika, there was Voi, there was Machakos. You know, some of the those are some of the venues that we did hold the rallies last year. There was the Mombasa Ramisi Rally. You can remember that as well, the coast one. So we'll have 9 for the Kenya National Rally Championship, set to begin. Set to begin. I'll get back to you about that. So let's move on now to the Kenya National Autocross Championship, which is set to host 10 events this season, as it did last year as well. So we had 10 circuits last year. So this season we also expect another 10. Uh, the circuits will be spread out across Kenya as well. Last year we did go to Eldoret, we went to Mombasa, we went to Thika, we went to Nanyuki. We transversed almost the whole country, uh, for the Kenya National Autocross Championship, which is set to do. We were set to do the same this year, so that will also be interesting to follow. We'll start with the season opener. Should start in Jamhuri Racetrack. We'll see how that goes. Moving on to the 4x4 Challenge Championship, that will have 8 championship events this year, the Kenya National 4x4 Challenge Championship. So they also be spread out across Kenya. We'll also follow closely to bring to you what is happening in that world. We have also the Karting Championship that also is going to host 10 events, similar to what they had in the last season, the 2021 season, also spread out across Kenya. But we know the Karting Championship needs already built circuits, and which are not many in Kenya, but we have some that have been used before. The one that we've been using, the one in Nakuru Solai. We have one in, we usually use the Whistling Moran when it comes to Nairobi, the Whistling Moran, and as well in the river. And we have other racetracks that have been used for the Kenya National Karting Championship, so we'll watch out for that as well. We expect to see stiff competition in the Kenya National Autocross Championship like we did last year. So we'll watch out for that. We'll be sure to stick to M-Spidi. All these events that I'm explaining to you right now, we'll be bringing them to you live on our platform, on our social media handles. So you do well yourself to get onto the platform. If you haven't downloaded the app, the link is on our social media platforms. You can visit any of the social media platforms on Instagram, on Twitter. Click on that link. It will take you direct to Google Play Store. For now, we are only on Android, but we are working day and night to make sure that we can provide the same app on the iOS platform for Apple users, for iPhone users, and Mac users. So for now, if you have an Android phone, you can just click on those links on our social media pages, and it will take you direct to the Google Play Store. You can download and subscribe to the app. Remember, M-Spidi is striving to bring to you all the motorsports action live as it happens, unprecedented things that haven't happened in Kenya. Be sure not to miss out on that. Moving on, we have the Tarmac Championship also on the calendar with their 5 events. Also organized by the Delta Motorsports Club this year, as they were last year. So we'll be also watching out for that. They'll also be spread out across Kenya. The venues have not yet been announced, but we're sure maybe the Whistling Moran will surely make it have its name on as one of the places to host the Kenya National Tarmac Championship. We'll also have maybe the WSC Service Park that held one of the best Tarmac Championship last year. So we expect also to see action going there. Masinga, we'll have the organizers come to give us the specific venues that they'll be holding the championship, which we will also relay to you as well. As soon as we are sure about the venues, we would hate to mislead you, so we confirm with the organizers. And we relay the same to you. The National Raid Championship will have 4 events. The National Raid Championship is one of the most exclusive championship we have. Largely so because the cars in the National Raid Championship are, on a different level. Oof, those cars are awesome. But we'll be waiting to see what goes on in that championship. They'll have 4 4 events throughout the year, spread out across Kenya as well. We did follow a couple last year. The one that was in Kenya, that was interesting to follow. We'll have also some inaugural championship join the calendar, some that haven't been there before, that weren't there in the 2021 season, like the Hill Climb Gravel Club Championship. That is new to the calendar, to the Kenya Motorsports Federation calendar. They will have 4 events as well. The venues, I'm not so sure at the moment, but we'll continue informing you with time as we move on. Moving on to the East African Classic Rally, they'll have 2 events. Remember last year we had the mini classic. That was like dress rehearsal of the East African Classic Rally. This is a rally. The East African Classic Rally follows the original blueprint of this original Safari Rally. Yes, you do know that the WRC changed the format of the rally. So the Safari Rally last year was not what the Safari Rally used to be in the olden eras, in the early 2000s, in the late 90s. They used to do long stretches of up to 5,000 kilometers of competitive distance. But for this new generation of the World Rally Championship, we do see the distances of the routes have reduced significantly. Like last year, the Safari Rally totaled around 320 kilometers of competitive distance. So the East African Classic Rally now comes to rekindle the original feeling of the Safari Rally that used to be there in the past. So we'll have 2 events this year. We have one in February, obviously, the East African Classic Rally that is set to attract drivers like the Stig, Ken Block, some of the big names in the world. We have also some of our drivers here participating, the likes of Bendy, Ian Duncan. We'll be seeing them compete. The mini classic will be way down in November. So those are the only 2 East African Classic Rally events we have this year. So we'll also bring the same to you live. That's why you really need to download the M-Spidi app, to follow us on our socials. We'll keep you up to date, aloof with everything that's happening in the world of motorsports. All these events that I'm talking about right now, I'm telling you about, we'll be live streaming them. The ones that we are able to, and the ones that we can't, we'll be recording and relaying the same on our platform, on our social media handles as well. So please, download the app, follow us on our social media platforms. Let's enjoy motorsports together. We have also one that is new to this calendar, to the Kenya Motorsports Federation calendar. That's the inaugural Club Band Rally with 6 events. To be honest, I have no idea what this entails. I'm also on the process of researching the same. So as soon as I know something, you'll also do. But we'll consult with the organizers. We'll consult with the Kenya Motorsports Federation so that we can have a clear picture of what the inaugural Clubman Rally really entails and what type of competition we intend to see them bring. So moving on swiftly because of time, we'll look at the. Give me a second. Lastly, we reviewed on today's show. We reviewed the 2022 Dakar Rally that's ongoing right now. Started last weekend on Saturday. So the Dakar Rally, as you know, is one of the toughest. It's actually the toughest rally in the world. It usually takes place in the desert. This year, it's been held in Saudi Arabia, as it was in the last year. So the Dakar Rally, the 2022 Dakar Rally, is an event held in Saudi Arabia, and it's the 44th edition of the Dakar Rally. It takes place between the 1st of January to the 14th of January, and it's the 3rd time that Saudi Arabia is holding the event. So the Dakar, with support from just a second. For this year, the race started in Hale. Is it Hale or Hale? I'm not so sure about the pronunciation, but it's Hale, and we'll finish in Jeddah. We do remember Jeddah from last year's F1. Growing through the different terrains of the desert, the sand dunes, the canyons, the cliffs, the Oasis, all that, the Red Sea coastline. The Dakar Rally is very different from other, very different from other types of motorsports events that we've seen before. It's very different from the WRC. Since now the cars that the machinery that is used in the Dakar Rally is on another level. We have the truck category where we have trucks, to compete in the desert. We have the car category where we've seen the likes of Audi come up with new technology where they've entered electric cars, which have been performing well, to be honest, from this week's preview, what we've seen. We also have Toyota with their, we have Toyota with their Toyota Gazoo racing vehicles also enter the competition. So the Dakar Rally has been this week has been interesting to watch. We've covered 6 stages already. The 6 stages that have been covered in Dakar. I'm going to give you the stage winners right now. The route, as I was saying before, the route includes one prologue stage. That's like it's an equivalent of the shakedown it's an equivalent of the shakedown in the rally. Then we have 12 stages, including 2 loop stages and 1 marathon stage. Yeah. And the route consists of around 4,000 kilometers of special stages and 2,500 kilometers to 3,000 kilometers of liaison. So as you can see, in total, that will take a lot of kilometers. It's a long event, really long event, but it brings a lot of excitement, a lot of fun. Oh, for me, it has been interesting to follow this week. The cars are on another level, the bikes, the performance, the endurance that is needed in that event, it's on another level. It demands a lot of physicality, demands a lot of experience. We've seen the likes of Sebastian Loeb, who we know is coming back to WRC with Ford. He's the most successful WRC driver after all. We've seen him try the Dakar Challenge. We've seen Carlo Senior, also a renowned name in the world of rally. We've seen him enter the Dakar Rally. Stephen Peter Hansel. We have Nasser Al Attiyah, who's the reigning champion, the defending champion. So there are a lot of experienced drivers who've been taking part in the Dakar Rally in the first week. So the stage 1 for the bike category was won by Daniel Sanders. The bike category has a lot of entrants, more than 40 to be honest. And they've been, it's been a push and pull between the driver, in the bike category, with Daniel Sanders winning this stage, and we can see Barreda winning the next. We can also see Toby Price, who's also a 2-time Dakar Rally champion, also win a stage. So, like I said, the stage 1 for the bike category was won by Daniel Sanders, and the stage 1 for the car category was won by Nasser Al Attiyah. That's the defending champion. He won the first stage of the 2022 Dakar Rally. Moving on to the stage 2. Stage 2, the bike category changed hands from Daniel Sanders to John Barreda. John Barreda won the stage 2 for the bike category, and for the car category it was Sebastian Loeb. As you can see, Sebastian Loeb has fully embraced the Dakar Rally. He's won a stage himself, with almost more than 6 stages remaining, right? And stage 3 bike category was won by Joaquim Rodriguez. So you can see this keeps on changing. Whoever won this, it's not like in the rally where you can find a driver winning consecutive stages. This is a different ball game. The Dakar Rally is absolutely grueling and tough. It takes each and every other driver apart, demands a lot from the drivers. That's why you see you win this stage, the next where to be seen. And the stage 3 car category was won by Carlo Sainz. Moving on to the stage 4 car, bike category was won by Joan Barreda. Once again, we see him winning another stage. And the stage 4 car category was Al Attiyah's to retain. So far, he's won 2 stages, Al Attiyah. And in the stage 5 bike category was won by Toby Price. Toby Price, as I said before, is a 2-time Dakar bike 2-time Dakar bike category champion, and the car category was won by Latigan. Hank Latigan, yeah, he won the stage 5. Stage 6, which was yesterday, was won by Daniel Sanders for the bike category, and Orlando Terranova won the car category for that. So after the 6 stages, the overall leader for the bike category is Sam Sunderland. He's yet to win a stage, but he's been posting good times, occasionally appearing in the podium places, taking second, taking that, but meaning that he's been consistent enough to claim the overall lead. He's not won any of the stages, but as you can see, he's the overall leader as well. The overall leader for the car category after stage 6 is Nasser Al Attiyah, because he's won two stages already, and he set up a very good gap in the first stage, the opening stage, the stage 1, that has helped him maintain the lead. He's also been performing well in the stages he hasn't won. He's managed to finish in good positions, sometimes coming in the podium places. He's not lost much time, so we expect to see him. We're waiting to see whether he'll be able to defend the championship he won last year. So that will be also interesting to watch. And for now, for today was rest day in the Dakar Rally. There was no action today. They were taking their rest today, and then they resume the competition tomorrow. So today is just rest day for them, taking the time to recuperate, to repair mechanical issues and damages. For It's a breather, since the conditions in Saudi are extremely tough and grueling. It's actually torture. We would consider it torture to some, because the temperatures can be extremely high, and as we saw earlier this week, there's also the occurrence of flash floods that were unexpected. So as you can see, the Dakar Rally demands a lot of awareness, a lot of physicality, a lot of preparedness. It's after all the toughest off-road rally in the world. So we'll be keeping you up to date with whatever is happening. Even next week, as we begin the new stages tomorrow, stage 7 up to the last stage, we'll keep you aloof in what is happening. See whoever wins. We'll also be bringing to you the winners in the other categories. We don't have the truck category on today right now, but we have them on our social media. We have them on our app. You can go there and see who's won in the truck category. You might be interested in the truck category. You might be interested in the special vehicle categories, because there's some special vehicles, some buggies that have been specially built for the Dakar Rally. We have an open class as well. There are different categories in the Dakar that are going on right now, but we've decided to give paramount importance to the bike category and the car category here at M-Spidi. Not that we've dropped the other categories. We also bring them live. We've been uploading clips of what is happening in Dakar. So if you want to see the action as it's happening, I'm sure you can only find it on M-Spidi. It's not been largely broadcast in the local channels. So if you are a big fan of the Dakar Rally, go to M-Spidi, download the app, go to the social media platforms, follow that there. And for today, I think that's all we have today for today in this episode. So for a few pointers here and there, we would like to big up the Kenya Motorsports Federation, especially for the great work they're doing in growing our local motorsports scene. The president of the Kenya Motorsports Federation, Phineas Kimathi, kudos to that guy. He's outdone himself. He brought the Safari Rally back to the country and made it a massive success. It brought a lot of foreign exchange to the country. It's estimated. It is estimated from the figures we did see last year that the Safari almost brought 6 billion in foreign currency into the economy. So, a 3 or 4 day event that is able to bring such amount of money and currency into the country shows that the organizers really did a great job on the event. The event was well organized. It was safe. There wasn't any incidences. So the organizers, we give them our congratulations. pull our hats off for them. They did a great job. We also want to thank all uh, the fans out there who've been following and keeping the fire burning in motorsports. We want to say thank you, and we want to encourage you to continue bringing the same energy. For the people who've downloaded M-Spidi, the people who are following us on our social media platforms, the people who've been supporting us since we launched this application, we are really grateful for the same. We say we're thankful. We take this opportunity to also promise you bigger things and better things this year. We've learned a lot in the last 1 year as well. It was also a new experience to us. We've learned a lot. We have great plans for you this year, plans that are going to excite you. So stay close to us. Keep following us, keep subscribing, keep recommending the channel to your friends, recommend the app to your friends as well. You can download, family members. Let's grow the motorsports at large. Let's grow as a unit. Let's all move together. Let's raise this sport. Let motorsport be the bench. Let Kenya be the benchmark for motorsports in Africa. We can see the growth is already there, so we only need to keep the fire burning, add more fuel to the fire, and I'm sure we'll get somewhere. So, as I told you earlier, M-Spidi Weekend Live is a weekly show that we usually today, because we haven't started, the season hasn't officially started. We are bringing this to you, the previews and the reviews of the season. But from now, when the events actually do start happening, we'll be bringing you the weekend live from the fields, live from the field, where we'll be showing you the action as it's happening. So you can be sure that all the action that's happening in motorsports will be there to cover it for you in the best quality possible. So for this week and maybe next and maybe the one after that, we'll be bringing to you snippets of what's happening in the world of motorsports. But as soon as the calendar kicks off, as soon as the events begin, it's all action from there, action non-stop. So here at M-Spidi, we say it's all about sports, fun, and entertainment. But we are also taking this opportunity to educate you about the world of motorsports, right? So thank you for joining us for today's for today's show. It's been a great pleasure hosting you as usual. My name is Ben Kishohi. Remember to follow us on M-Spidi social media platforms. Like I said before, it's M-Spidi on all platforms, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on WhatsApp, on Telegram. We are on all social media handles, M-Spidi, M-S-P-I-D-I, M-Spidi, Speedy for Swahili, right? So thank you for joining us today. That's all we had for you today in this episode, and it's been a pleasure. See you next weekend.